Hi everyone, hope you've had a great week. In News Generation today, we will tell you about a resourceful teenager. She's been running a business for about 4 years. The African Cup of Nations kicked off yesterday. We have your views and predictions.
Maybe 4-1, maybe 2-0, maybe 3-0.
And Boko Haram went on rampage, destroying entire villages, but the Nigerian government has been silent.
We need to think of the lives of the people in the region and the way it has been destabilized.
That's what the world is talking about. My name is Bernice Abubedu. You're watching News Generation. Let's get interactive. You can find us online on Facebook at newsgenerationgh.com and on Twitter at newsgengh. Now to our very first story. A lot of people risk their lives living near the rail line, particularly the Bannerman-Amasaman stretch. But there's also a school on the stretch, and it's between a street and the railway line.
They are young and ambitious. They have dreams of becoming great men and women to help drive Ghana to another level on the development ladder. But these dreams may not come true for these pupils of Fumwak Islamic School at Amasaman. The school lacks infrastructure to accommodate the many children who need education. Between the rails and the streets of Bannerman Amasaman is this school, Fumwak Islamic School. Though an Islamic school, the government of Ghana in 2012 absorbed the school into its cluster of schools. That did not mean an end to the school's challenges. Its location between the streets and the rails poses a threat to the lives of these peoples. Apart from this, the drainage system in the school is nothing to write home about. According to the pupils, anytime there's rainfall, the school is flooded and classes are halted.
Whenever it rains and the water can't flow, so if it rains, it stays there and the smells comes to our class. If a teacher is in the class, the teacher cannot teach us anymore.
Sometimes when the car is passing, like the noise, we can't even hear what the teacher is saying. Yeah, and it is very dangerous to sometimes when it's break time, when the children are crossing the road, it's very harmful. Maybe a car might beat a child or something.
We need more laboratory, science lab, library. Don't have anything at all. Even the trainway is worrying us a lot. And sometimes when rains fall, the school all gets flooded.
Sometimes we can sit in threes, in twos. We need more chairs so that we can feel comfortable to learn.
We need a lot of classrooms and tables and chairs.
We have the infrastructure problem. We don't have the classrooms up to the number of classes we should have. For instance, the KG 1 and 2 are housed in one classroom. And then the class 1, where they are now, they are not supposed to be there. But because we don't have the infrastructure, we have to manage where they are. So, and then the furniture, we don't have enough furniture. So we are appealing to the government and then the assembly, the district assembly.
The government.
Can you live without clean water? I guess not. But the people of Chachabame have never had clean water. They rely on muddy water from a dam.
This is the only source of water for the people of Chachabame. It used to be a ditch from which water was drawn for irrigation. The water is muddy, as residents have to walk in to fetch. It's not very surprising that residents have suffered from various waterborne diseases. That stopped when an NGO paid for the dam area to be sprayed, but that was a long time ago, and now residents are worried people will start falling sick again.
Ova bakpana miangu no chika garama kwa. Ato dolelea. Mima galamo. Kafia dolela bubu ova ava. Tada mi gana da ma azofo tumo bu afia bakwi. Ta fifia mi hiana achimi bubu. O hachi alo pipe nemi. Mianu kuku. Ikami magano afo dem achiama hanunumu. Fifi ha mienu na abamo ka ngunya mafio katana chiko wu fifi lafia. Achia kugola anu. Waika wole ma da forma zofo chofira fi va dem ta mieji chimi
la miagbo achinunu mala miasio eto e kamie kuna achia mie kuna ha abe miazo afi ayafima akuchi agbo pipe hare ka kola miashi never ti ikawa neba na mi ila school homa afi miado school homa da ditena mianchi la school homa.
Unfortunately, the people of Chacha Bame have not figured out a way to fix this problem. They want government to help out.
For many young people, there's nothing to worry about when it comes to school fees. But others have to be resourceful to stay in school. Same met 14-year-old Aisha, who has a noodle business.
It's about 4 p.m. and it is time for business. 14-year-old Aisha Mohammed sets up for the day's business. Aisha picked up the skills and essentials of the trade from her mother when they did business together. The noodle business is a popular one because it's quick to prepare, and that convenience plus innovation is key to making it.
$10 or 20 custom, maybe 2 or 3.
Aisha loves the ease of food preparation with the LPG gas stove, but she can't afford, so she makes do with charcoal and a coal pot. Aisha doesn't just sell noodles, she's a student. The money she makes from the business pays for her education. Of course, Aisha has bigger plans and dreams. This business is just a stepping stone.
I go to school 6:30 in the morning. We will close 4 o'clock p.m. When I come home, then I'll come and start selling it. 8 o'clock, my mother will come and sell. Then I'll go and learn. After learning, then I'll sleep.
For What's Up today, we are talking football. The 2015 African Cup of Nations started after some controversy over accommodation and other arrangements, but the excitement for the tournament has been quite low. Adelaide spoke to pupils of the Sunflower School. Here's What's Up.
The 30th edition of the African Cup of Nations has kicked off. Organizers, players and fans are hoping the tournament will be a success one in this time of difficulties. I say difficulties because of the deadly Ebola outbreak on the African continent. And this time around, the tournament seems to be having low patronage from the fans and even the nations that are participating. I'm here with some students of the Sunflower School here in Accra, and we're going to elaborate on this topic. So now the African Cup of Nations has started. It started on Saturday, and looking at things around the country, it seems like people are not interested, or a lot of people are not making noise about it. Why do you think it is so?
People are not interested about it because Ghana didn't qualify in the World Cup finals, and the waste of money.
I would say that in Ghana, some Ghanaians don't believe that the players, maybe when they will go, they will win the cup as they did in the early 19th. And then the waste of money they did during the World Cup 2014 was very serious.
I think that people are not making too much noise about it because in the 2014 FIFA World Cup, Ghana didn't qualify to go to the finals, and they just wasted money. They wanted to play for the money, not for the people to be happy. So I don't think people should make too much noise about it because we are not sure if they are going to perform well or not.
Okay. But do you think it's the right thing we are doing because our nation is representing us on an African platform? Even though they didn't do well in the World Cup, don't you think we have to give them another chance?
I believe in second chances. So if we give them this second chance and they blow it off, I don't think we Ghanaians will be able to give them another chance.
I would say that we should give them a second chance because if we leave them and don't believe in them for them to go to the match and perform as good as they did in the late 19th, they will say that since our people don't want to support us, and then we play anyhow we want it, so we should give them a second chance.
We have to give them a second chance because they will think we are not believing in them. So if you are not believing in somebody, the person will not do as you wish.
Are the players to be blamed, or GFA is to be blamed for people not believing so much in the Black Stars now?
The players are to be blamed because they are not really committed to what they are doing. Today someone will insult the other, tomorrow to someone to insult the other.
I will blame the GFA because one, during the World Cup, instead of sending the money with them, they rather sent it the time that they had to play matches, so the players didn't like it. That's why they didn't perform.
I blame the players because they put too much pressure on GFA. The players wanted the GFA to do what they want, not what the GFA wants them to do. So the players put pressure on them for them to give them the money. Meanwhile, they weren't happy about how they give it to them.
We are playing tomorrow against Senegal. What are your expectations?
I expect that maybe Ghana should score them very well as they did against the South Korea match.
I hope Ghana will win the match.
I also hope Ghana will win the match so that Ghanaians will also be happy.
Maybe 4-1.
Maybe 2-0.
Maybe 3-0.
All right, so you heard from our younger ones. They are expecting more from our players, and also the GFA. They are hoping that you encourage the players to bring out their best. If you're home and you're watching us and you want to join us in our discussion, you can go to our Facebook page. But remember, we are playing against Senegal tomorrow. You can also send us your score lines. I am hoping Ghana wins the match. That is our first opening match. My score line, maybe 2-1 against Senegal. Bye.
Still on football, AFCON 2015. The first match was played at the Estadio de Bata in Equatorial Guinea. We asked you how far you predict Ghana would go in this tournament and what team is your favorite to win the trophy. And Samuel Tete says, if I were to be brutally honest, with patriotism exterminated, Algeria. Tovlon Silent says, I'm not sure Ghana will even make it at group because my man is absent, Suleiman Tari. And Smarty Wonder Deku says, finals, Ghana, Mifri Ghana and Rep Ghana, Osei Ghana. Kofi Danko says, I just want Ghana to get to the final stage. Winning is not really necessary, knowing how Ghanaians jubilate with their motorcycles and cars on the streets. It's really dangerous. Very interesting point. John Ivan Stakura says, the Black Stars of Ghana is my favorite. You can go onto our page and post your comments and see what other people are also saying. Well, here are some things you should know about the tournament.
Feel the magic in the air. I love it in my all. Ale. Feel the magic in the air. I love it in my all. Ale. Feel the magic in the air.
Ghana has won the AFCON 4 times, only beaten by Egypt and equaled by Cameroon. Ghanaians have topped the AFCON scoring charts 4 times. 2 Ghanaians, Karim Abdul Razak 1978 and Abedi Ayew 1992, have been crowned most valuable players in AFCON history. Wilberforce Mfum is Ghana's highest goal scorer in AFCON history with 8 goals. No nation has hosted the AFCON more times than Ghana has. Ghana shares the spotlight with Egypt. Ghana won the AFCON when it first hosted the competition in 1963. In 1978, Ghana hosted and won. 3 of Ghana's 4 Nations Cup wins had national legend Charles Kumi Gyamfi at the helm as coach. That's a record matched only by Egyptian Hassan Shihata. Equatorial Guinea 2015 will be Ghana's 6th straight AFCON appearance. The last time the Stars missed out was in 2004, and before that, 1990.
70% of tickets for the Rio de Janeiro Olympics will be reserved for residents of Brazil, and a missing robot has been found on the surface of Mars. The details in News Round.
The Ministry of Health says items worth 237 million Ghana cedis were destroyed by the fire outbreak at the Central Medical Stores in Tema. The facility, which holds the country's medical supplies, burnt down with its thousands of important medicines and supplies. Heather Watson came through 6 rain delays, one of them at match point, to beat Alison Risk and reach the final of the Hobart International in Tasmania. The British number 1 triumphed 6-3, 7-5 to move within 1 victory of her second WTA title. Watson, 22, will play American Madison Brengle in the final after she beats Japan's Kurumi Nara 6-4, 1-6, 6-3. Organizers of the Rio de Janeiro Olympics have announced details of tickets program for the 2016 Games. 70% of tickets will be reserved for residents of Brazil. Fans can register online now, but sales will begin in March. The first results of the draw will be announced in June. The opening ceremony for the first Olympics, hosted by a South American city, will be held at the Maracana Stadium on 5th August 2016. 7.5 million tickets will be available, and more than half of them will cost $27 or less. The United Nations has reported that the 3 countries worst affected by the deadly Ebola virus are showing signs of improvement. Weekly statistics show both Sierra Leone and Guinea had their lowest totals of confirmed Ebola cases since August. Liberia had its lowest weekly total since. In Guinea, schools and universities will reopen on Monday after being closed for 5 months to try to stop the disease spreading. A missing robot, Beagle 2, has been found on the surface of Mars. Images taken from orbit have identified its landing location, and it looks to be in one piece. The probe tried to make a soft touchdown on the planet on Christmas Day 2003 using parachutes and airbags, but no radio contact was ever made with the probe. Many scientists assumed it had been destroyed on impact. A rare 1980s video game being auctioned online has had a bid worth more than $99,500 cancelled. The game is called Stadium Events and was released in 1987 for an early Nintendo console, the NES. Players use an accessory, the Family Fun Fitness Control Mat, to take part in fitness challenges, a bit like a basic 1980s version of Wii Fit. Reviewers say that game isn't even that good, but it's highly collectible in the USA because few copies still exist. The bid for $99,500 was cancelled. Now the highest bid for the game is $32,252. A safari tour guide in Zambia had a big surprise when traveling on his boat after a huge hippo started to chase it at high speed. The guide in South Luangwa National Park had to speed up the boat as the hippo launched itself out of the water. Hippos are big creatures and can easily be angered. They can move very quickly and can be very dangerous. Fortunately, the boat proved too quick and everyone got away safely.
Boko Haram went on a rampage, burning down villages and killing residents of Baga on the northern border with Chad. Amnesty International puts the number of lives lost at 2,000. The Nigerian government says they are less than 200. But the inaction of the Nigerian government and its dull response to Boko Haram's activities have caused many to ask if the lives of those caught in the conflict do not matter. That's what the world is talking about.
The deadliest massacre since Boko Haram began fighting the government in 2009. That's how Amnesty International describes the latest Boko Haram rampage. 2,000 villagers were alleged to have been killed. Over 5,000 fled Baga, a village on the Nigerian border with Chad. These are figures from Amnesty International and local officials. The Nigerian government has strongly disputed the numbers, saying just 150 people were killed. The dispute over the numbers is the least of worries, as the government had actually been silent on the issue even days after the news broke. The government has not been able to back its figures with facts. Amnesty International released satellite images of the area before and after the attacks. Doctors Without Borders says its doctors are treating about 5,000 people who fled to neighboring Maiduguri. Months before the Baga attack, Boko Haram militants had destroyed communication masts in the area, making it impossible to reach anyone by phone or any technological means. The Nigerian government sent a message of condolence to the French government following the Paris shooting at the Charlie Hebdo office, but are still silent on their own. This seeming lack of concern has prompted many to question the actions of the government. Already under a state of emergency, the three northeastern states worst hit by Boko Haram attacks have asked the central government for more troops. Boko Haram has also extended the conflict to neighboring Cameroon, where they have attacked military personnel in the country. With just 5 weeks to the presidential elections, analysts hope Nigerians would vote on issues and for a government which could end the bloodshed. Former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan says force alone may not solve Nigeria's conflict with Boko Haram and that politicians should reach out to try to find a solution. He hoped whoever wins the Nigerian election would focus on ending the insurgency before it spreads further.
It's not easy, but it can be done. We need to think of the lives of the people in the region and the way it has been destabilized. And I hope that whoever wins the elections will focus serious attention in ending the insurgency before it spreads further.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of News Generation. My name is Benes Abubedu. Stay safe. Bye.